Alright, welcome to another Cheap Hammer battle report. This is going to be the last battle report that I'm going to do here in the shoreline. So yeah, because it's been already 3 battles over here. This one won't have any objectives. It's just going to be an asymmetrical battle just to test some miniatures and check some rules, stuff like that. Target practice, as I say commonly, or in other battle reports. When you have battle reports against the AI, this is something that I haven't sorry, I'm a little bit sick, that I haven't laid out basically what I do. But in previous battle reports against the AI, what I used to do, and this is a question that also was in the comments, is like, how exactly do I make the AI remember the rules and everything? So what you want is to first get the electronic books. You can get them from Games Workshop, of course. Support Games Workshop, buy the original material. And then what I do, once I get the PDFs, what I do is I extract into smaller PDFs. For example, you can use ChatGPT for that. Small PDFs of, for example, the rules from page something to the other page. And you can also ask them to avoid kind of like tabloids or certain kind of fonts, because, for example, you get like phrases from the lore, like this thing that Cetra, the imperishable, I think is his name, said, or this thing from a general of the empire. You can just detect what font is that and say like, okay, all that font, all font that looks like that, just skip it, take off the diagrams, everything, just like take all of that away, so that it's pretty much just text. So then you got like let's say 90 pages of pure rules for consultation. So you just give it to them, like you upload that, and you do it systematically also with magical weapons, with advanced rules, stuff like that. So you have like 3 files that you could just upload directly into ChatGPT, and the thing's just going to remember it much better. It's like a better thing. And so also I recommend, for example, if you use Old World Builder, copy the text, pass it to a node, then convert it to a PDF, and then you can upload both of the lists, some rules, everything. If you're in a premium subscription, they're just gonna remain there, so you could just consult them and keep uploading and uploading and uploading them, so you can just have a refreshment of the rules. Now, the other thing that you want to have is also, you want to have like, you're going to ask them for a formation. Like, for example, this is the formation that ChatGPT came up with. And no, in this case, it was Grok. Grok came up with this formation, and it came up also with the list, So the thing with it is like, you just tell them how the formation is, copy all the text, simplified it, copy all the text, and save it as another PDF file. And finally, once you set the board, then he knows both of the list. He see more or less what is the formation, everything. Just ask for what is going to be its main strategy, and then from there you can kind of skip asking all the time what is it gonna be. You could just stick with the main. How would I say it? With the main. The main strategy. And just for some things, you can just consult them. Warhammer is a pretty straightforward game, so you just really don't have to just think that much, or let's like close things or very logical things that have to be done, and that's the factor of chance, But playing against AI, remember, it's kind of like, how would I say it? From 100%, it's like 60% is gonna be used. Let's say 70, and 30% is going to be opinions and construction and some of the things that AI is going to do. So, but it's a good thing to us, as I said before. It's a good thing for target practice. Maybe you can create new. One of the things that I actually really enjoy is creating landscapes and creating scenarios and things like that, because I don't know. I just like I really like to have games that look very in-depth, that have that factor of immersion. Anyway, So that's what I recommend. You can just whatever, text-based AI that you wish. And of course, as I said before, this in no way is going to substitute a good battle of Warhammer the Old World or 40K or Age of Sigmar or whatever system you use with another human. Of course, this is just to practice rules, to make interesting lists, and to make interesting games. For example, for me, what I find more convenient, because sometimes just a lot of magical weapons and things like that just confuses the AI. So I equip his heroes as best as possible, but no magical weapons. But I give myself handicaps, so I can use magical weapons. I can use all of those things just to see how they affect or what do they do. And of course, I give myself a handicap of 500 points or something like that. You don't have to do it if you don't. I mean, this is open play. You can just do whatever you want. So it's like I made myself sometimes handicaps of 700 points, like in this occasion, just to test some miniatures, just to see how well my strategies are, and all of those things. Anyway, so this is the battlefield, and I'm gonna go through the lists in the next piece of video. All right, so first of all, it's going to be the Empire, and it's going to be 2,500 points. My list is going to be 20 free company militia, a steam tank with pigeon bombs, and I think it was blunderbuss. No, a repeater pistol. One Empire engineer with a blunderbuss, grenade launcher, and pigeon bombs. Hellblaster volley gun. 2 mortars. Another Empire engineer with pigeon bombs and blunderbuss grenade launcher. 55 halberdiers of the Empire. I know it's the Bretonian man-at-arms, but I really like the Bretonians, and I also like the Empire units. But I really like to use this. I like to mix miniatures. It's like if I like them, I'm gonna add them to my collection. So 55 halberdiers, veterans, state troopers. They're accompanied by a captain of the Empire. He's going to be the BSB, has the Gryphon banner. A witch hunter, this is the lady. A lector of Sigmar. As my general, you might think that this is not correct, but I don't care. It's going to be nobody else but Sebastian Jarek from the Imperial Guard. I still know them as the Imperial Guard. That's how I got them, not as Astra Militarum. I just thought I wanted to add him, so he's going to be my general. Yep. So anyway, and a level 3 wizard, battle magic. As a detachment, there's going to be a unit of 40 swordsmen, hand weapons and shields. And finally, this new addition, I hire some mercenaries, and it's a unit of 5 Badlands Ogre Bulls. So that's going to be Empire, 2,500 points. Now, coming up with the vampire counts, and it's a lot. It's going to be a unit of 10 dire wolves, a banshee, 20 zombies, 30 skeletons with a vampire thrall, level 1 wizard, dark magic, probably Doombolt. A unit of 20 grave guard accompanied by the vampire thrall battle standard bearer with the banner of Drakenhof. A unit of 20 grave guard with the necromancer acolyte. Oh, by the way, over here in this unit of skeletons, there's also the necromancer, master necromancer level 4. In this unit, it's going to be the vampire count. The vampire count with the necromancer acolyte in another unit of 20 grave guard. I know that my grave guard is the Mortec guard from what is it, from Age of Sigmar. I just like them better. They look more tough. They look actually like a grave guard, like an ancient grave guard. I don't like the ones from Games Workshop. Games Workshop from what was it? The Warhammer Fantasy came up with them, before it was finished. I seriously didn't like them. So I decided just to use the Mortec guard as my grave guard, and I'm satisfied with my choice. 20 zombies in the back, 2 units of 11 crypt ghouls each one, 12 black knights, as you can see, the first ones. These are miniatures from Battle Masters. My brother gave it to me. Battle Masters, something like that. It's like an old Warhammer set. Master of War. I don't really know his name. He just gave me the knights. He wasn't really using them. So I'm turning them into my black knights. As you can see, they're decorated over there with some pumpkins and some tombs and stuff like that. And the skeleton, the horses are like ethereal, well, kind of like ghosty. So yeah, this is how the black knights are looking. I know that they are purple, but it's part of the color of the whole Vampire Counts army. Anyway, so 12 black knights full command, 2 units of 3 spirit hosts each. This is the same thing. I had he gave me a couple of these old, I think they were Empire State Troopers from before, and they're a little bit crooked and they're a little bit like damaged because I actually put them in brake fluid to bring down the paint job that they had before, and it melted them a little bit, but I mean, they don't look that bad, you know. It's like I like to fix miniatures, you know. It's like, and besides, they are ghosts, you know, so they probably had some battle damage before they died. Anyway, so sorry, my sickness. But yeah, I mean, like they're perfect for spirit hosts, you know. They look a little bit more melted. I mean, if you look at the face of this guy, I can't focus. But yeah, I mean, doesn't look that from here. You can see it, you know. But these faces all like melted. But yeah, they work. And unit of 6 crypt horrors. Same thing as I said before. You know, my crypt horrors are just ogre bulls, you know. But I put some zombies and just like pieces and corpses all around them. There's a zombie over there also giving signals. You know, so like I just like other miniatures, you know. I think it's fun to do that kit bashing. Anyway, Tomb Banshee, and then behind it another unit of 30 skeletons with a vampire thrall. And that's going to be 3,200, something like that, points of vampire counts. Now, my main strategy over here, of course I'm overwhelmed, but that's why I created this big strong blocks with banners and everything possible. My main strategy is just to survive. This is just like, it's going to be just a death match. And that's pretty much it. It's just to see who destroys who. Everything is just coming. So my idea is, that's why I have the mortars, the hellblaster, all the ballistic things. And once they get close, I'm just going to attack them with my big units, you know. Try to hold them over there if they come over there with the bulls. And use the steam tank and the free company militia maybe to chaff them a little bit over there, take them, and just use the steam tank to just grind them up. So the idea is to funnel them over here and over here and just destroy them. Try to survive maybe to turn 4. I would consider that a victory. Anyway, so on to whoever is turn number 1. Alright, so it's going to be Vampire Count's turn 1. Now I'm going to read, as usual, Grok's strategy. After an analysis of what magics he have at hand with his Necromancer level 3 and the Acolyte level 1, which he's going to have the signature spell of Necromancy. And he's going to have 3 spells of Necromancy. It's going to be Spirit Leech, Deadly Cabal, and Van Hell's Dance Macabre for augmentations. Anyway, Grok's strategy is basically says, my strategy as Vampire Counts is called the Tithe of Death. Oh god. Core concept: I will not try to shoot you, to outshoot you. I can't. I will screen, close fast with magic help, with combats decisively, and replace losses throughout racing, throughout racing. Empire has fewer bodies and no real way to replace models. I do. This is an attrition war, so I can win if I don't let your shooting delete my key units before contact. Priority, protect Master Necromancer at all costs. He is the engine of my army. Raise chaff, screens in every magic phase, zombie skeletons to eat mortar and hellblaster fire. Oh, good strategy. Close distance quickly until using my Hell's Dance Macabre on Graveguard or Black Knights. Neutralize or heavy weaken your shooting, Mortar's Hellblaster Steam Tank, as soon as possible, even if it costs me a unit. Break the 55 veteran block. Once that dies, your center collapses. Okay, so it's gonna focus on my center block, and he's going to use like Van Hels on that unit and this unit. I think it's going to be the main unit where he is the Vampire Count. Or maybe it's the one, because he's the one that's of skeletons. And some of the things are out of range, but I kind of know what does he mean. And use the 2 Banshees to snipe and soften your General, Wizard, Lord, Captain in every turn. Unit roles and how I will use them. Graveguard blocks the heart of the army. Once block gets the Vampire Thrall and plus Drakenhof Banner. This becomes my unkillable Death Star. The other gets the Vampire Count's General. These 2 blocks will advance in the center or slightly offset, supported by raised zombies in front that grind anything they can touch. Black Knights, 12. My main mobile hammer. I will use them on a flank, probably the one that looks more open in the photograph, because I show him a picture of my deployment. To either sweep your artillery engine and engineers or charge into the side of your big block once it's engaged. Crypt Horrors, versatile, good versus your Ogre Bulls, both monstrous infantry, so you're going to see an engagement of Ogre Bulls and Crypt Horrors. That's going to be interesting. Can also support the Graveguard grind or help take down the Steam Tank. Spirit Hosts, Ethereal Gold versus the gun line. I will use them to tie up your infantry blocks, hard for normal weapons to hurt them, block marches or march through the rain to threaten your backline artillery. They are excellent at eating and shooting for free or forcing you to waste magic attacks. Zombies and race units, pure disposable screens and tar pits, march them straight to your gun line. Every model they kill, every turn they survive is a win for me. Crypt Ghouls, flankers and harassers, use them versus your free company, archers, engineers, or to support big combat, combat with poison. And Tomb Banshees, the already mentioned, Magic Plan, Racing, Van Helsnas Macabre to move, Curse of the Years to the 55 block or the Ogre Bulls, Spirit Leech to the General, Captain Wizard to the big block. Other necromancy spells is just when he gets in the situation for extra damage on combat. And the other things are just like the typical just generalities that just AI say, you know, like use this to your advantage or bushes and I understand that, you know, with close formation, make the units pivot or the big block or anything. Anyway, I got the shooting advantage, so I think this is just going to be a turn of Vampire Counts just marching forward. Anyway, so onwards to Vampire Counts turn 1. Alright, so end of Vampire Counts turn 1. As instructed, obviously, he said that he wanted to distract the war machines as fast as possible. So, of course, by questioning Grok, he agreed to vanguard the wolves and move them and then use the reserve move. And now they're right in front of my war machines. So they're going to block some of the units over here, the line of sight to kind of target units over here. I still can kind of see, not probably my mortar not, but one of my mortars still can engage and my Hell Blaster can do some stuff. But this forces me to have to deal with that. Otherwise, they're going to charge my my war machines. So I think between all the war machines that I got over there, I can still handle them. and I'll see in my turn what I can do. Everything else move forward. This unit used Van Helsden's Macabre, but it only got them the 8. It was actually this unit as instructed with a vampire count, and it got the 8 plus, not the 12 plus. So it had actually a D3 on its movement, and it had 3, so it moved 7 inches. Use its reserve move, just move normally, because with vampire counts you cannot march, so everything just slowly moves forward, except with the wolves. Wolves is one of those units that you just throw over there. I would have much better just have like 5 and 5, so that he focus fire on one and the other one has clear. You screen them with just one unit and the other one has clear view to just wipe the rest. But with bulbs you never know, you know. Also, this could be a good idea because sometimes with one single weapon he can just wipe out 5 of them, and then with the next one the other one. So at least if you get like 3 wolves that kind of charge a war machine, I mean they can already just kill the crew. So it's money well spent, so to speak. Anyway, on to Empire turn 1. All right, the end of Empire turn 1. I have Wizard over there that has battle magic. I got Arcane, Urgency, Fireball, and Curse of the Cowardly Flight. Those are the spells that I got. First of all, I didn't move anything. I just decided to wait until they can come closer and try to shoot as many units or debilitate them before engaging with my main block, my Witch Hunter, my units in combat. So I just casted Shield of Faith because why not? So I did a Prayer of Sigmar, have Shield of Faith. I tried using Curse of the Cowardly Flight against the wolves, but it didn't. It was dispelled actually because the Master Necromancer was in range of my Wizard Lord. Anyway, after that, in the shooting phase, the only thing is I changed the how my Ogre Bulls, their formation. I think I'm going to start pulling them back so they can just be here protecting this little gap over here. I'm going to remove the cards, but they're going to just pull over here and just defend this gap, just like funnel everybody to there. If I can funnel the units, problem is the spirit hosts are ethereal, so they can just charge my units through the scenery. They don't really have a problem, but I can just funnel everything over here, you know, and maybe funnel his big units over here and just like keep them stuck over there. Anyway, I tried casting Fireball, tried casting it against the wolves, but it got dispelled. Then the next thing that I did is I used, as you can see, I pretty much just cleared all the dire wolves. Problem was that I expected it to do it just with the Hellblaster so I could concentrate on other units, but the Hellblaster misfired twice, even though it has the Master Engineer over there, twice. And then it took 1 wound and it couldn't shoot anymore. So that's not good. The Grape Shot, I was hoping that it did more wounds, but it actually didn't land so much. The bottles that the militia throw, they were ineffective as well. I decided to pull up my scouts over there. So I shot my arrows, killed 1. Not really that much, but now well, my scouts are out now. And then I unloaded a mortar, which is the hot pot, against that unit of Graveguard. Managed to kill like 2 or 3, something like that. I shoot it again with this mortar and managed to kill 3 of them. Actually, one of them scattered. I was hoping it hit more ghouls, but they actually have like a very high toughness, but it actually killed 1 and 3 Graveguards. So it's not bad, it's not great, but it's not bad. And between the Grape Shot and the 2 blunderbusses, actually one of the Pitchum bombs, because I threw 2 Pitchum bombs at that unit. One was a 4 and the other one was a 6. those were the ones that actually killed a couple more Graveguard over there. Probably is gonna get resurrected by the Master Necromancer or the Acolyte. So, wow, because he has the Staff of Neurot. So he's just going to keep resurrecting some units or healing some units. So, but it doesn't matter, you know, I just stay like that. Then I use my 2 blunderbusses, the grenade launchers, put them into the dogs. It was pretty effective. Between the steam gun and the 2 grenade launchers, they just wiped out that unit. I still have some time before all the engagement starts happening because nothing is really in like charge range. So I still have a turn in which everything is going to start lining up. Then I have to use my blocks wisely to start blocking everything and try to use the steam tank and my shooting to just trap some units that could possibly not do much damage. Like, gotta be careful with the Banshee. There's another one over there that could cause some trouble over here, but it's gonna take them a while to get all the way there. And if I can just, if the Spirit Host, that's going to be the decision for Grok. If the Spirit Host is going to charge directly the Swordsman, or it's going to be the Black Knights, or it's going to be Ghouls or anything. But the idea is to keep everything over here. Use my Razor Banner, my Flaming Attacks, and the Gryphon Banner, the Laurels of Victory, everything that I got on this unit, use it to just like massacre whatever they throw at me, and just use this as support, you know. And let's see, and over here the steam tank and this guy have to be able to chaff or just block some guys, so it gives me enough line of sight so I can keep shooting at other units and try to destroy them with the fireball and with everything that I got. So yeah, but apart from that, just the dire wolves are gone, so I still have a chance. Nothing gets charged, and I still have at least a turn before all the tide starts drawing closer. So that's it for Empire turn 1. Let's go to Vampire Counts turn 2. All right, end of Vampire Counts turn 2. Not much, just positioning all the troops as by question and answer given by Grok. Everything just moved forward. Try to cast what was it, the Van Hels on the same unit to try to push it forward, but it failed casting. The Staff of Neurot and the Necromancer Acolyte actually got multiple wounds, so they heal the unit of Ghouls back and they heal the unit of Graveguard back. So yeah, they're all back in complete health, and everything is moving. One strategy that was accorded and that was actually quite interesting is he wants to use his Spirit Hosts to go behind the rock and then get the rear of either the unit of Swordsman or the unit of Ogre Bulls. So I have to be, so obviously once that is understood, I mean, like, you can see it, you can pretty much predict what is going to happen given the movements that your opponent is trying to do. Like, it moved and then it had like this reserve move, so it's moving all those 6 Spirit Hosts to go behind the rock and then charge my rear of my unit of Swordsmen, or either charge the rear of the Ogre Bulls, so that these Crypt Horrors, man, can have like a much easier time just charging into them. And since they are levies, they cannot reroll, etc., etc. So I guess that's going to be, I'm going to see what can I save. It's either going to be the Bulls or it's either going to be the Swordsman, or maybe just I can pull the Swordsman a little bit back so that they just cannot charge it on the rear. Maybe they get the flank. Over here, Ghouls are getting into position to charge. So obviously, given by the pictures shared to Grok and what was accorded, it's going to be this guy's charging over there, this guy's charging over there, this guy's getting to the other side, this guy's slowly but creeping into there. So I have to make a decision. Maybe I can charge them on the flank, but I'm not gonna do enough damage because I got the banner and I got charged, but then there is nothing that I can do. So I could just tar pit my unit of ogres sufficiently enough so that the crypt horrors can come but together along with the banshee and just wipe them out. So I might as well just wait there and just block them and just see if I can just cause some more wounds with my war machines and everything over here, maybe collapse this part. That banshee over there is also wanting to hunt my archers, so I gotta be careful with that. And apart from that, in terms of casting, not much happened. Spirit Lich wasn't casted. What was casted was Ben Helsden's Macabre, and it failed. Dwellers Below, I mean, that's an assailment spell. Spirit Lich couldn't be casted, but I suspect it's going to be casted eventually, so that the support Banshee can just scream with a modifier of -2 already to what the Wailing Dirge give, and another -2, so it starts cleaning up a lot of the units because there's no armor save allowed with it. So I have to make sure that that doesn't happen. Anyway, so on to Empire. Oh yeah, and what was the last? Yeah, the Necromancer Acolyte tried to cast Raise Death, and it couldn't, so yeah, that was it. On to Empire turn 2. Alright, end of Empire turn 2. Not a lot. Just casted Hammer of Sigmar onto this unit, because since it's going to face combat pretty soon, it's better that they stay ready for it. So yeah, I'll use Curse of the Cowardly Flight on that unit, and since they don't have to take panic test because they're dead, I just push them 1 inch. They gave ground, so I just push them some inches behind, so maybe they start losing their charging range again. So that's that. Though they're still actually pretty close, but anyway, I had to use my spell anyway. Tried to cast that fireball, didn't land it. But then I used both of my mortars, and both landed hit on that unit. And one of the Master Engineers landed a pigeon and 6 on a pigeon bomb over there. And I did some damage with the Hell Blaster, though it was only 6 on the rolls, so that wasn't that great. But I managed to chip so many wounds out of those skeletons. So that unit is a little bit like has been softened, which gives me a little bit of perspective here. It's like if these guys charge, those guys charge over here, these guys charge over here. With all the synergy that I got going on over here, I'm pretty sure I can just wipe them out. And I'm quite sure that anything that can be thrown from the undead against this, gotta emphasize that this is the idea and composition of the 3,000 points that Grok said that was going to work against my army. The spells were chosen by that, the units were chosen by him, handicap of 520 points, and also PDFs, and I also gave him my army list, all my Empire army list with my handicap and everything that I had, so that he could formulate an army that could destroy this one. And this is what it came up with. So it's very slow, it's not getting there, but still I'm not chanting victory. I have depleted some of its stock. I got half of that unit at least right now in points. I got the wolves out. So the rest of it is less like, I gotta just hold, but let's see what happens in Vampire Counts turn 3. Anything else that happened? No, nothing else. So on to Vampire Counts turn 3. Alright, end of Vampire Counts turn 3. Not a very successful turn. Use Drilled, Reform, Move Forward, Closing the Gap, Charge from the ghouls to this unit. Of course, I wiped them out with the great weapons and everything. I used, actually I didn't use also the stand and shoot from my weapons, from my guns. But yeah, I mean, like, it just got completely demolished, the unit of ghouls. This unit stand, and it actually did 2 wounds because of combat resolution, which I didn't actually check Banner of the Count for crumbling. Means that actually they can take back the 2 ghouls. Sorry, there you go. Yeah, because they're close to the banner. Not sure if actually that is close enough. I'll have to check. I'll just keep them over here. But at a certain range, they can. It's kind of like an extra indomitable. So due to crumbling, they don't have to crumble so much. I'll just check if that's the case, then they're gonna be back. Anyway, so they did 2 wounds against my unit. The other ghouls did 3, and these ones did 2. But due to all the attacks from the halberdiers and the hand weapon and shield possibility over here, I was able to hold. I don't know for how much long, because as the strategy that was laid out by Grok, these guys are in my back, so they're gonna charge me on the back, and I'm gonna be charged on the front. I'm gonna get disrupted, and I could potentially lose my detachment, but I have to be able to cause enough damage over here to those guys, to some of these units. Maybe the big block over there, maybe then the other block of Graveguard. I don't know. I still got the steam tank, so I can just torpedo one of those units. I can just use them to just like grind that unit. Problem is they got great weapons, so they could potentially destroy it. You know, with the armor piercing, steam tank has an armor save of 3. Of course, they're gonna hit on 6s, but still, I mean, like Graveguard could potentially destroy my tank. So we'll see, but I have to do something with them. Knights, once these units are there, I think the knights are going to just back up everything and just try to charge me over here. The Banshee used its Wailing Dirge, but they passed their leadership test, luckily, and this is just moving over there. So there's a couple of more units on their way. But yeah, first round of battle resisted by the big block. Let's see for how long it lasts. On to Empire turn 3. Just a little clip before I continue. I was shooting the Hell Blaster. It sucked on the first turn. I targeted this unit and I made a roll that just comes once in a lifetime. I rolled 3 10s on the artillery dice against that unit. 3 10s. It's going to get completely smashed. But I rolled 3 10s. That's 30 shots from the Hell Blaster to that unit. I just wanted to make that clip because that was insane. Alright, end of Empire turn 3. Even though that I managed to land almost the impossible roll with the Hell Blaster, it didn't do enough wounds. It rolled, then because it was at large distance, but I used the ballistic skill of my engineer, so it was at 4. So I was expecting maybe 15 shots. It was less than the average, and then I said, okay, it's strength 5, so 2, so everything's gonna hit. And I started having like 6 or 7 ones, and I was like, come on. So yeah, it didn't cause sufficient damage. Then I used my 2 grenade launchers and the pigeon bombs. One actually returned, landed a hit and killed 2 of my units because I threw a 1, and I actually didn't throw for this guy. It's a strength 4, resistance 3. Oh, well, thankful nothing happened to the engineer. But yeah, it returned and hit me, and the other one got a dull, so it just made 1 more wound. Cannon shot stayed. I put it 4 inches from this unit, tried to get like a flank shot, and it shot. I put it 4 inches, it shot 2, and then it got the misfire, so it landed, stayed over there. Mortars did quite some damage. Shoot at this unit. Did some damage to it. Got a hit, so it was pretty good. The other one scattered and went to the zombies over there. So we got some zombies, but it's zombies. Come on, it's like it's useless. So got some zombies and we chipped some of the unit out. But still, the necromancers are there, so probably they're gonna use Arcolite to resurrect them. Of course, I mean, like, it's obvious. I mean, like, this is the things that the staff of Norrot and everything was the things that Grok put just to be resurrecting the units. So some of the unit of the skeletons is gonna come back. So that wonderful shot by the Hell Blaster is just wasted. Did 1 wound with all the brace of pistols of the main unit. And yeah, and this is just the next turn. I decided to keep the ogres here to hold the ogres over there, but I mean, like, there was no way to stop this. Once that Banshee in turn 4 of, I'm expecting in turn 4 that either I'm going to get charged by maybe the Black Knights over here, and then the rest of the things, they could pretty much keep me occupied, because the Black Knights have that chance of, because since it's in the arc of range, since it's in the arc of vision, they can charge this unit. So I'll charge over here, then this will just move over here just easily. Then I can just maybe maneuver. I hope I can make enough wounds with this unit to do something against the Black Knights, but this is kind of the choices that I'm going to leave Grok to do. But most possibly, or most probably, what's gonna happen is this is gonna charge over there on the black. These guys are gonna do wounds. This is gonna get disrupted. I don't know how long can this stand. That's gonna charge over here. This is gonna get closer and closer and closer. Maybe those for reinforcement. Maybe this on this side. Banshee is gonna come closer and start shouting. Maybe she does it to my unit of militia, and yeah, that's GG for them. So I gotta see how does this work out. Anyway, on to Vampire Counts turn 4. All right, here's an update of Vampire Counts turn 4. Before anything, this unit charge over there. They failed to charge over there. Move. Created some zombies over there. She used her Wailing Dirge against that unit, but their leadership 10 because of Warband. So it didn't work. Spirit Host charged the flank and the rear of the unit of swordsmen. That's bad. Move. And regenerated some skeletons with the Staff of Neurot, and over here, casted Bahel's Dance Macabre. Nothing happened. So that's it. So right now it's going to be all the all the melee to see how it goes, and that will be for the turn number 4 of Vampire Count. All right, end of Vampire Counts turn 4. Kind of like a very good turn for the Empire. Not so great for the Vampire Counts, but it played right into what I really needed to be my trap, kind of. I mean, it was not really like expected. I was expecting to get more damage, but the big Death Star managed to do what it was supposed to do, because it wiped out the entire unit of Black Knights. So they were charged, and of course, you get higher initiative, so they got when you charge, and they had the lance, so they got double the +2 to strength, higher initiative, everything in this unit. But I was able to do first some stand and shoot shots, because I got brace of pistols with my general, with Jarek. Probably use his bolt pistol, whatever. He has brace of pistols, my captain, and my witch hunter. So all of them shot. They managed to do 2 wounds against the Black Knights. After that, they completed their charge, used lance, and higher initiative. So they did some wounds against my unit, which is okay, I can take it. It's like -2 armor piercing stuff, so they immediately die, my veterans. But anyway, so what I did is when I returned the hit, first I hit them with all the great weapons on my heroes, and I got the Revenant, so I can re-roll everything because of hatred. And second of all, I can just I have like I can nullify flaming attacks. I can have flaming attacks because of the Witch Hunter, so no regeneration. So with all of that, I actually managed to make a couple of wounds with my generals, and then I did maybe 2-3 wounds with the rest of the halberds, because they got like -1 on armor piercing because of the halberd, and that was enough to make sufficient wounds. And then on combat resolution, it was 2 ranks, Gryphon Banner makes it 4. I had the Close Order. I had so many wounds. Full Command, Battle Standard Bearer, everything was over here. So I end up winning the match by the encounter by like 8 wounds. So I clear them out. I wipe them out. I'm not exactly sure I was gonna go for this unit because they got hit pretty hard by these guys and these guys. They still stood because they actually lost and they did a fallback in good order. Now, after consultation, I realized that if the unit is really boxed and it cannot move anywhere, it just gives ground to the unit with the higher unit strength, which in this case, I think it was the ghouls. So they just actually the one of the ranks, one of the blocks of units that I have was wiped out, so there was a space, so they just gave ground to the back and just stay there. So this unit is getting eaten, but I still have my main block intact. What I think I'm going to do in Empire turn 4 is I'm going to charge with the militia against the the Tomb Banshee. I'm pretty confident with Warband and well, it's an open order unit, so I don't have the rank bonus. I don't know. I think it's going to be more a thing about like once I pin them with the tank or something like that over here, I can just charge them on the flank with these guys. Because I thought maybe with Close Order, Warband, and everything, I could just wipe her out by combat resolution. She couldn't do so much wounds to me. But now I remember that they are militia, so first of all, they don't have, and they are not detached, so they don't have a full command, so they can use it in combat resolution, and they are open order, so it's a unit that actually does not count rank bonus when it comes to combat resolution, so they could be stuck with her. I don't think that's gonna work. I'm just going to concentrate on shooting, conjuring stuff, and see what happens in the next turn. Anyway, so on to Empire turn 4. All right, end of Empire turn 4. Not much has happened. Forgot also to shoot with my archers against the unit of zombies, but I'll resolve that in a second. It's probably not gonna be a lot. Anyway, same situation here. Lost the combat, but still fall back in good order. But because I'm still getting crunched, they gave ground, and they're slowly getting chewed by this unit, by the spirit hosts and the ghouls. Managed to keep my lines there. I can't move this line, so it's the main block, the fortress, so it has to hold over there. And now they got Hammer of Sigmar, so any charge that could happen, I can take it. Managed to destroy the unit of skeletons. I use a grape shot. I use the the bottles actually on the throwing items of the militia, clear up the zombies in front, and I use the steam gun and wipe out the rest of there were like 2 skeletons left, so no armor save allowed. They couldn't make the regeneration. Oh, well, they actually did, but failed. And then, yeah, bye-bye. Gun. And the rest of the grape shots were absorbed by the Necromancer and the Vampire Thrall. So they are down to 1 wound each. So I think in maybe 1 turn, I can just take them out. This is pretty much nothing they can do. It's up to decide what is Grok going to do, if it's going to, like, fall back. But anyway, they cannot march, they cannot make sudden moves, so they'll just move over there and I'll just shoot them. Mortars also did some number with him, with the skeleton, so the unit is wiped out. I'm expecting probably charges coming from this unit, and I use Curse of the Cowardly Flight and push that unit again, so it's not in charging range. So the only thing that is in charging range, and I think it's going to happen, it's the most obvious, is that's going to charge over here. Hopefully it fails. And then, well, some arrows at these guys. These guys are gonna get massacred. That thing's gonna end up clashing over here. Probably they'll take out my Ogre Bulls, because she's just gonna use the Wailing Dirge while they're in combat, and yeah, this is not gonna be nice. But expecting charges and expecting some spells. But yeah, on to Vampire Counts turn 5. All right, end of Vampire Counts turn 5. Crypt Horrors charge the unit of bulls. The Banshee actually managed to land quite a couple of wounds with their Wailing Dirge. I end up winning the combat because it was pretty, it was very close. The only thing is I put the bulls with great weapons, and so all of them used their great weapons. That actually gave me the possibility of turning around the combat, because that I could land hits on 2s while they were landing hits on 4s, because it's pretty much the same profile with these two. The only thing is they have like poison attacks, so that's quite damaging when it comes to wounding. But aside from that, I win the combat by, I think it was 1 or 2, something like that, and they're still close order. They got a banner, and so I was able to allocate some wounds and stay in the battle. The only problem is I don't think that's gonna last. I think with another Wailing Dirge and another round of attacks, they're gonna start wiping my ogres. These two have already 2 wounds each, so I can start allocating wounds over here, seeing how it goes. Over here, quite interesting. Now they won actually the combat, because the ghouls landed like a very small amount of wounds actually on this unit. And so I was able to make sufficient wounds with just the attacks of the front and the support attacks in order to counter that. And with the banner, which is, they are detachments, so they still use it from over there, close order and 2 ranks, I was able to wipe out 2 more ghouls. And these guys didn't do much damage because they are in 4s and 4s and 4s. So when you're 4s, 4s and 4s, I mean, you just reduce 3 times to its half on average the amount of attacks that you do, or the amount of damage that you're gonna do. So in this case, it's like 4 attacks each. That's the advantage, is they can get hit back, but like 4 attacks each. That's going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So it's 24 attacks. Half 12, half 6. So on average, just only 6 wounds would land, and that's on average. So, but they threw really low, so they managed to do like 2 wounds. So I was able to overturn it, and then by combat resolution, winning the battle. So they're gonna stay in place. They're not pushing anything because they're still locked over here, but they are winning. So that's good. Over here, it was pretty much like a question to Grok. It's like, you want to issue a challenge against my general, and it rejected it because already it knows that it has Hammer of Sigmar, so I can reroll any wounds that on a natural on a 1. And since I got it would have been actually like interesting over there, because I still got weapon skill, strength 5, the strength 4, sorry. So it would be 6. Since his toughness 5, it will be on 3s. So anything that lands on 2s, it would be already it wouldn't land on the wound. But I have this, and I have the Witch Hunter, and I have flaming attacks, so no regenerations allowed. And I got the Hatred, so I can reroll, and I got this reroll again. So with all that information, he didn't took the chance, Grok. So he decided to just land his hits against my unit. He caused some damage, not necessarily a lot. It was just a couple of wounds. And by the way, I actually removed the dice. It was like 4 wounds or something like that. 4 wounds. So it landed some wounds. It didn't do much. And then the Grave Guard went further and did 3 more wounds, something like that. Then I responded with my, I think it was 5. I'm just gonna put it as 5. Then I responded first with the first attack, obviously, because everybody was using great weapons, were the Halberdiers. So they did some wounds against the Grave Guard, And then afterwards, I did my attacks with my general great weapon, with the Winch Hunter using a great weapon, with the Arc Lector using the great weapon, and with the Captain using the great weapon. All of them use their great weapons, and they reroll for hitting on because of hatred, and they rerolled on wounding because of Hammer of Sigmar, but already was on 2s. So because they got toughness 4, but all of them have minimum strength 4. So it was toughness 4 against strength 6, it was on 2s. So I mean, like, everything was just rerollable. So all those wounds landed, and it was -2 to armor piercing, since the Graveguard was using also great weapons, no shield possible. They actually don't get a shield when they change to great weapons. So all of them got removed, like the majority of them. And then it was just like combat resolution time. So I end up winning by so many amount of wounds. But once I wiped out the whole unit, they threw Banner of the Count first, because it's close to them, it's over there. And it got 3 wounds discarded. Indomitable of 2 and Indomitable of 2 actually managed to wipe, to let the Vampire Count stay in place. So that was quite something, you know. It's like those points really matter at the end. So they actually didn't crumble, none of them. The only thing is, like, of course, if this stays the same, which is now it's the turn for Empire, I'm going to try to cast as much as possible. But now it's going to be by combat resolution, Gryphon Banner and everything. I think I can clear them out, but we'll see about that. Over here, bad news. Graveguard destroyed the Hellblaster, overrun, charge into these 2 guys. They're gonna get mutilated, and it's going to overrun again into the other weapons. But I think I can overturn this maybe with the militia, with the steam tank. It's like at the moment it's like getting blocked by the Banshee. But I think I can just, not just the Banshee, just grape shot those guys, take them out of the game. I gotta choose which one. But I think I can go for a grape shot against the Vampire Count, and I can go for a a template against this one, and just clear them out of the combat. Use this and use the rest of the bottles and everything that I can shoot at them just to clear them out. Maybe some arrows, just being able to just wipe out the Necromancer, this guy. If I wipe out the Necromancer, the Vampire Thrall, then by combat resolution I kill the Vampire Lord, and that already crumbles. I think it's like, all right, so I get rid of all the heroes. It's already GG by that point, because I can hold over here, I can win over here, but already his army is going to crumble. The only one that is left is that guy. Those guys didn't even move, because we're close to. Actually, I think I'm gonna move them a little bit forward, because they can't do anything else. That's the thing also with units like that. That's a big block of skeletons could be really reliable over here to turning the tide, but they're over there. And there's nothing they can do. They'll just march. They cannot march, by the way. They'll just move 4, then just move another, like 4 over here, then another 4 over here. By turn 6, 7, maybe they'll get over here. It's impossible at this point. Anyway, so on to Empire turn 5. Alright, end of Vampire Counts turn 5. Or I think, no, it was Empire turn 5. As I predicted, Vampire Count is dead. Too many wounds, flaming attacks, no regeneration, lots of great weapons. He was out, as well as the Necromancer. There was not even necessity for combat resolution. Over here, they got crunched, they got pushed back, again, same situation. Now they're just gonna get wiped out. Over here, bad as well. Won, but they did so many wounds because of the poison attacks and everything, that I think in the next round of Vampire Counts, these guys are gonna get wiped out. These guys are gonna get wiped out. This, actually, the Master Engineer, one of the engineers, managed to hold oh no, wait, actually, give me a second. Sorry. That guy actually managed to not get killed, but he fall back in good order, stopped over here at this unit, turn around, and then these guys just overrun into it. So this is probably the place where I'm going to start losing a lot of units. They're gonna clear the engineer and go into this unit. And it's not my turn, so there's no steam tank. I used the bottles and everything and managed to, with the grape shot, I wipe out the vampire thrall, and with the bottles, I managed to chip the last wound out of the master necromancer. So already the master necromancer, the vampire roar, the vampire thrall. This is the only two guys that are left, which is this vampire thrall and this vampire thrall. The rest of them are dead. It's like there's a big deficit in their army already. So let's see how it goes when this unit and this unit get wiped out and this unit gets overrun. And by that point, it's going to be, the next round is going to be vampire counts turn 6. I'm just going to count the numbers, see how much. My main block is still here. So my main very big unit, my steam tank, everything is still kind of there. The only thing I'm gonna lose is the detachment, the ogre bowls, some stuff. But I think I actually, once turn 6 is arrived, I think I'm going to hold, because this is the main heroes are already dead, and it hasn't crumbled because of dark vitality. But mostly, I think these things together, I'm just gonna check some numbers and come back just to to skip that step. It's just unnecessary battles, but I'm just going to take it in consideration as if this was one and this was one. This is not much points, and this is not going to be a lot of points. I may come back over there and I'll give you the resolution. All right, end of the game. It was not necessary to keep playing. Crunching the numbers, giving them the ogres, the Badlands ogre bowls, and these guys, let's say the engineer and the two mortars. All around it was like 600 points, something, 600, 700 points. But crunching the numbers of the heroes, the Grave Guard unit that was lost, the Black Knights, the Dire Wolves, the Skeletons, and half of some of the units. For example, this one is half capacity, that one's half capacity. Crunching all those numbers, it is pretty obvious that it's not going to work. And once they just clinch, because probably they're just gonna attack this unit, I can just allocate all the attacks from the magical weapons. Well, I don't have any magical weapons, but by combat resolution, Gryphon Banner and everything, I think I would win. These guys would stop over here, probably though, but as I said, if they wipe out the engineer, they have to overrun into the machine, so that's not even in the same turn. But I'm just giving them also the mortars as an extra, even if that happens. If she maybe landed maybe a Wailing Dirge against these guys, that hasn't worked because they got leadership 10. But there's not necessarily anything in the battleground that could assure that to turn her around. So yeah, I think in this particular case, given Grok's strategies and Grok's list, I think it's a victory for the Empire. Turn 6, they haven't overturned it. There were some interesting things happening, kind of like the spirit host crossing through the scenery just to be able to charge the units on the back. That was kind of scary, because if I actually lost the unit, I was lucky actually, because I mean, with all the combat resolution, they managed to just fall back in good order all the time. They didn't flee. Even though there was Spirit Leech over here and they couldn't use the Inspiring Presence, they still have the chance of making the reroll. So they were lucky that they was always fall back in good order and just like give ground and just keep getting crunched over here. Over here, I was going to lose the Ogre Bulls. They're strong. Put them in a line of 5 so that you can utilize all of their attacks, because otherwise the ones from behind, they could have actually overturned it and wiped them out. But I put them back and then I didn't reform. It was so stupid. They have to be in a line of 5 so all of the major attacks could just land on whatever you put in front. So lesson learned over there. Um, but that's that. The Hellblaster was kind of like a letdown because it landed so many great hits, but I mean, it works better with the synergy of Null or with some of the stuff, but it's like sometimes because of long distance and ballistic skill and all those stuff, it just doesn't land the amount of wounds that you really needed it to be able to land. So was kind of a disappointment, but the rest of it worked. So yeah, that's going to be a victory for the Empire. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next Chip Hammer video.